right, let's do this. We're gonna mix this track from this to this. So here we are. We're going to do this. We're going to try this. What I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to attempt to mix this while chatting with you guys and recording everything I do on this beautiful interweb that we find ourselves in 2020, the year of our Lord. Okay, so that was the song. I wrote this song like 5 years ago with my buddy Schuyler, and we kind of released it but didn't release it, and I always really liked it. We did like 4 or 5 songs. He did all the instrumental, like, so he did all the drums, all the guitars, everything except for the vocal, and then I just wrote the lyrics and sang on it. And then we almost made a band out of it, but then he went and he did his own music, and I got busy and stuff, so never really found a home. I started doing my own music, and I just didn't feel like it fit the music I was making, but I always really liked it. And then last year I was hanging out with my buddy Jaret, and Jaret's a great drummer. He's a great guitar player. He's an amazing musician overall. And he was like, all right, what do you have? Like, do you have anything to work on? Like, we should do something together. And I was like, I have this song that I wrote with my buddy Schuyler named The Gutter, and I fucking love it, and I don't know what to do with it. And he's like, oh, we should record it. We should re-record it. And so just to thicken it up, because Schuyler's demo was really just originally just a demo. It was just meant to be a demo. We never really turned it into like a quote unquote real record. So it kind of sat on a shelf for like, I think for like 5 years, until about a year ago that Jared and I re-recorded everything. So he did all the drums. I re-recorded all of Schuyler's parts except a couple things from the demo that I really loved that I just couldn't recreate. They were just really cool moments. So Schuyler, you do have an engineering credit on this. And then I actually left my original vocals because I really like the takes. They maybe not are recorded as well as I would maybe hope, but we just work with what we got and we go from there. So I'm going to try to mix it. And if you guys are listening along, that's awesome. If you say that sounds like shit, change the hi-hat or whatever, that really helps. I'm not here trying to be like a teacher because I don't know if I'm qualified to do that, but I just thought it'd be fun to make some music online. And it also helps me actually do the work because we did this a year ago and then I got busy with my own job and I got married and all that other stuff, and I just never found the time to actually finish and mix it. So if I do this, something like this where I say at 7 o'clock on Wednesday I'm going to stream and it's going to be the greatest experience for everyone, then at least I hold myself to it and I have to sit here and do the work. So cool. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so I like to start with the drums. Jared kicks ass. I gotta take these off to actually listen. I actually did quite a bit in pre-production with these, so they sound pretty full already, but there's always room to grow. I got this plugin a while ago called CLA Mix Hub that kicks ass in terms of like SSL style. I really like SSL style plugins on drums. Now, whether this one works for the kick drum right now, I don't know. Give it a bit body. So what I was saying was, here's what we got with the kick drum. Without, so that's the kick in and out without plugins. And then what I did, super subtle. Okay, so again, just thickening things up because I really like the way that they sound already, and I don't want to bastardize that. I just want to kind of get it sounding maybe as getting it to its best self. It wants to live its best life. I also really like super punchy snares without that kind of like new metal, no like super insane samples over top of the natural sound. Drums always take the longest. Okay, so I think I like that so far. Then I usually move from there into the overheads. Get the kick snare overhead thing kind of rocking together. So again, you start to hear a bit more of a difference once you start getting more of the mics in, but with this is it before plugins. This is it with. Everything just kind of tightens up in the low end. Gets a bit more chunky. The cymbals kind of come out more. This plugin's really good because it doesn't... You can slam it pretty hard before it actually like really breaks up. I guess they're trying to like emulate the console to a certain extent. It's a lot cooler than I think the old Waves SSL plugins. Cool. It's starting to sound pretty good. Again, most of this might change as well as the track. Right now, I'm just kind of getting things sounding the way that I want to individually. And then you got to kind of mix them all together when they're all playing together. But this is kind of what I've developed doing over the years. And whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. I just listen, man. Now, Studio One has this really cool thing called the Mix Effects, which is like a console emulation plugin. And what it does is it puts it across every plugin that's in that bus, or every track that's in that bus. So all of these tracks are now individually being sent to this one plugin. So what that does is it emulates the signal path of a console. It adds drive, it adds crosstalk if you want it to, and it adds quote unquote character, probably like an output transformer style saturation on the character. And I like it a lot. I like this one. I'm not a fan of these two guys. Like, I think this is like their Neve clone, and this is their like Abbey Road style clone, but I just can't get them to sound good. They sound so contrived. This guy, I like this guy. So let's hear this. Yeah. So again, super subtle, but what I'm hearing it doing is giving it that thick, gooey low end that analog stuff is really known for, that it's really hard to get in the box. So kudos, Personas. So let's hear the drums kind of inserted to the rest of the track right now. Without plugins. With. Okay, so we can call that a start on the drums, and let's start on the bass. The bass. Yeah. Bit of body, bit of punch. How much crunch I can get out of it. Oh. Listen to how much it thickens everything up. Let's hear how that plays with the drums. Starting to sound pretty fat. I'm gonna take out all the verb until the drums start. All right, let's dig into this chorus bass, which is a bit of a minefield. Although I've got this. What's this guy over here in the second verse? Just pushing that plug-in to the max. Lots of high end. Wow. Let's see how that works with the other one. Cool. What's up, Eric? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's hear what we have with and without what I've done. No plugins? With that bit of that plug-in. Y'all got more of that plugins? Oh yeah. Okay, so now we need to figure this guy out, which is I've been kind of dreading. I've been kind of dreading because look at all this noise he's got. He's so loud. He's so loud. Why did I do this? He's so loud because he's beast. I call him the beast. Alright, I don't want it taking up too much of my hand. It is a bass after all. But it's dirty as fuck. Alright, that's sounding pretty sweet on my end. I don't know how it sounds like on YouTube. On YouTube. It sounded good enough to bring in the guitars, that's for sure. Alright. Now onto the guitars. Which they are quite a few, but not that many. Super punchy. I really like these guitars. I just want to EQ them, really. I think I'm just going to stick with these SSL plugins for this. This sounds sick. So loud. Cool. All right, let's see what these guys sound like. Yeah, I like these guys. Yeah, I want them to be more roomy. Get this sounding. Let's listen. This is one of Schuyler's original tracks. I could never recreate it. It sounds so sick. Ah, you demand, Schuyler. I want to put a little bit of micro shift on it and make it extra kind of in the speakers. Loud and proud, baby. Let's go. Oh, yeah. I said that I would be going back to this tambourine over and over, and I will. They're so weird. I feel like it needs some kind of transparent compression. I really like Arvox to do on these kind of things. It's super weird, but just kind of closes it down a bit without it sounding too compressed. Do 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 do. Fuck yeah. Now here's Schuyler's other guitars that I kept because they're so cool. Might want to bust these guys. Bust them to their own bus. They're going on a bus. Schuyler guitars on their own bus to the mix bus. I want it to have like a slapback delay as well. Loud and proud, baby. So these guys are underneath all of this, and they probably need to stay that way. Just add a weird texture to the bridge. So essentially what I'm going to do here is just EQ them and set them a little bit. Yeah. Just adding to it. Let's look at these two feedbacky dudes. They're literally just adding feedback to the mix. Add some reverb to them. Put them in the room. Welcome to the room. Maybe give it a bit of the hall verb too. Feedback. Okay. I don't know if we need much plugins on that, but this guy is just doing wonders, and my computer's not freaking out yet, so let's just keep going. Get rid of those little tails on them. I don't know if they need as much reverb as I've put on them, so I might pull it back a little bit, just to these guys. Alright, let's listen to the whole thing instrumentally, because we're almost at vocal. Jaret did little, he was like, we should put some drumstick drops. Like, I got off my kit and said, fuck it. They're really quiet now that the mix is up, but it's rock and roll, baby. That's what happens. Jaret just was so proud of his take that he threw his drumsticks on the ground and said, I'm out. All right, loud and proud. Full thing all the way through with what we've got so far. All right, last thing before we get to the full mix is this group of fellers. And they are not the greatest in terms of recording quality because I did them 5 years ago off the cuff when I was writing them, but I really like the take and I've bounced them out stereo because they came from Cubase, so also super annoying in my opinion, but
whatever.
We are going to test them out. Let's see how much headroom I've got. By this time in the mix, my volume's probably pretty hot because I've crept everything up slowly, so let's listen. Alright, so it's not too bad. So let's listen to this guy by himself.
Ain't got the change, ain't got the mind.
It's a bit muddy. Vocals are always the hardest because they're the most important, right? So what I did there was just kind of find what I didn't like and kind of bring it down a little bit.
Ain't got the
So it's all just EQ and a little bit of compression. The tough part with vocals is you want them to kind of be the star of the show. And so the way that I do it is a little bit backwards. Sometimes I try to, but I've just never gotten used to it because I just started out this way. But I try to do the drums and the vocals together and before I bring in the rest of the instruments. But it always seems to not work. So I now just do it exactly like I did this whole mix. I do everything one by one to where I like them, and then I bring the whole mix together, and then I start tweaking things to move things out of the way. So it's a bit like you would do probably 20 years ago. What I'm doing right now is what you'd send the mixer, I think. You'd send him to then mix it. So I'm not really technically mixing it. I'm just kind of taking what I recorded and trying to make it sound as best as it can on its own, and then we'll then see where I go from there.
ain't got the change, ain't got the mind.
So that's sounding pretty good to me. So now we need some verb.
Ain't got the change, ain't got the mind, ain't got the looks, ain't. But there's nothing blocking my sight.
I'll probably just copy everything over and see how that sounds together.
But there's nothing blocking my sight.
I want to give these guys a bit of a radio effect. Radio effect? What's this guy?
I know I've got nothing, but I don't need a thing.
So let's hear what we can do with some capitator. I don't know.
Time, but there's nothing blocking my time. But there's nothing blocking my sight.
It's just not the one, man. It's just not the one. Let's try the Personas one. This guy's fucking loud though.
I know I've got nothing, but I don't need a thing. I know I've got nothing, but I don't need a thing. We're in the gutter.
It's already kind of distorted because I left it like that. But I'm going to, underneath it, add a little bit of the decapitator to just grunge that up a little bit. Where are you? Decapitator sound toys. Decapitator. Decapitate me, motherfucker. And I compressed it a bit more than I did the verse with the RVox. This is essentially like a, I don't really know what the hell it's doing fully, but it's like a vocal centric compressor from Waves. And I dig it. I don't go below 6 on this, and I don't touch anything else, and it just kind of, fills everything out. I like it. I like it a lot.
I know, you and I know, we're in the gutter together.
Okay, so starting to come together. Oh yeah, baby. And then I can't scream for shit, but Schuyler did this for me when I asked him to, and it's sick.
All right.
Fuck yeah, Schuyler, bro. It's all right. When I asked Schuyler if I could mix this and release it on my own, first he was like, nah, but then after I talked to him for a while, he was like,
All right.
that was finally after an hour of talking him into it. I was like, come on, man, we need, this song's so good. And he was like, fine. And then I just happened to record that, so this is what we have. All right, so this needs to be fucking epic. All right. Schuyler, what do you think about this? Okay, cool.
You and I know we're in the.
We're gonna do those last because they're gonna need some more attention, but these guys can be done as one.
You and I know. You and I know.
Whisper, whisper, Vox.
It's a secret.
Okay, these guys need a lot of the bass taken out of them. Too much bass in your face. Yeah, I know.
You and I know.
I'll go past 6 in this situation because it's the only thing compressing the vocal.
I know. You and I know.
All right, let's bring in this chorus choir. Let me hear these guys.
You and I know. You and I know. You and I know.
Okay. And we send them to a bus. You get a bus, and you get a bus, and you get a bus. Choir bus.
You and I know. You and I know. You and I know. You've got the.
All right, I think everything's pretty much there. Now I just need to get them all leveled together. So essentially I'm leveling everything else against the vocal and the drums, because when you compress everything down when they go to mastering, or when maybe later on I'll crank the volume up and kind of squash everything, those are the two things that kind of like push down into feeling too quiet if they're not kind of overly loud when it's uncompressed, I've noticed. So if the drums and the vocals are sitting kind of at equal place, vocal a little bit above it in terms of volume, when you add the guitars and you add the bass and then you squish everything together and make this big, large mix, they still stand out, but then they feel like more in the mix when everything comes together. So I usually will start my leveling after I've got everything kind of EQ'd the way I want it to on the drums and the vocal. And then we just keep tweaking until we like the sound of it overall. And I'm gonna start bringing in some like reference mixes and see how they sound compared to what I have here, and we'll see.
Ain't got the change, ain't got the mind, ain't got the looks, ain't got the style.
Okay, so now we're just marrying everything together. We're just picking out things that we don't like when the whole song is playing and saying what is causing that and how do I get rid of it. And it's coming together, sounds pretty good. What they would do during mastering is compress everything, and that changes the overall value of a lot of things, I find. So I just fake it, and then when I get a mastering engineer to do the rest, I just turn it off. But what I might do before that is I used to have UAD, and I got rid of it because I wanted to switch to PC to do the live streaming. So I sold it, and what I did miss, there's two things I missed. There's a really great tape plugin that is on the UAD suite, which I really love, and I don't have it anymore. And there's also a Pultec EQ, and this guy's really close, the IK Multimedia. It's a bit hard on the CPU, but it just boosts the high end really nicely. So that's just adding a bit of brightness, and I'm gonna use it to give even a little bit more than what the console thing is doing. Low end. I also think I need to turn the compression down on this boy.
Been blocking my sight. You and I know. You and I know. I know. We're in the gutter.
It's getting close.
Ain't got the style, I cut the debt, I bought the lie, I lost the bet, I wasted time. You've got the look, you've got the smile, those sexy lips, those pretty eyes. You know that I would never change, no, not one thing on you. I know I've got nothing, but I don't need a thing, 'cause you and I know.
I'm gonna bust the guitars and just EQ them very, very slightly as a whole. I take that back. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because then it creates another thing for the reverb to go through, and I don't like. I don't like. Go away.
And I know you.
So the guitars were just getting a bit in the way of the bass, and it was creating some muddiness, and I don't like muddiness. So really all we're doing now, is we're just listening to the whole track overall, and like I said earlier, we're just picking out things that are messing with each other. Like for instance there, the guitar was messing with the bass, which then was messing with the snare. And so I'm just trying to get them all to fit together properly. And that's what actual mixing probably is, or mostly is, because I guess traditionally producer, songwriter, or a real professional would send it to the mixer with all the tracks kind of sounding how they want them to. But I bet you the mixer still does a little bit of what I've done, where I was tweaking all the individual stuff just to get it to sound how I kind of imagined it in my head. And now I am mixing everything together and making sure that all things play together and occupy their own space so they can all be huge together. So they can all hold hands in harmony. All right, it is getting really close now, I think. All right, now we got to figure out these frickin' drum sticks. Yeah. All right, I want to add a big delay here. That is not the desired effect, my friends. I would like a better version of that. How about this? Yes, but I want a bigger verb. This might be the last thing I have to do for this mix. Okay, I want to edit this. This guy should sit probably empty all the way and then go up into oblivion. Yeah, I think we need the delay to do that as well, though. Where's the big analog delay? Edit automation. Let's go. We're gonna have to do a delay for that one too, I think. It needs to be like a slower delay. So new effect. We'll call it big delay. Big delay. Big delay. Big delay. Like it. Okay. The analog delay that is in Studio One is actually pretty sweet.
They got it together.
Yeah, that's what I want. But it's got to be all the way down. And then edit automation. I want you to fly like an eagle all the way up there. And then go back down. Go to your home.
They got it together.
A little too much, but
they got it together. They got it together.
the bass in my room is a bit fucked because of the way that it is like lengthwise and the way that I have the desk. So if I stand over there, I can hear better. So give me a sec. All right, I think I'm almost done. What I want to do is just kick this guy up a notch.
You and I know and I know, you and I know, you and I know, you and I know, you and I know.
All right, let's from the top again. I think we're pretty close to done. At least for tonight. And then I'll listen to it tomorrow and I'll be like, what the fuck? Here we go. Loud and proud, baby.
Ain't got the change, ain't got the mind, ain't got the looks, ain't got the style. I cut the debt, I bought the lie, I lost the bet, I wasted time. You and I know, you and I know, you and I know, we're in the gutter.
One more time. Gotta fix that reverb at the end, but fuck yeah, boys.
Ain't got the,
That doesn't hit hard enough.
ain't got the,
That first hit from the drums is gonna get a little bit of a volume boost.
ain't got the change,
Yeah.
ain't got the change, ain't got the mind, ain't got the looks, ain't got the style.
Where is that verb? It's gotta be big verb. There it is. All right, let's listen from the top again. And I think we're done.
Ain't got the change, ain't got the,
I lied. What I want to do now is I want to take the chorus because those drums hit so good in the verse, but they don't hit as hard. I want to just bump them up by 0.8. Yeah. All right. I think now I'm done. Loud and proud, baby.
ain't got the change, ain't got the mind, ain't got the looks, ain't got the style. I cut the debt, I bought the lie, I lost the bet, I wasted time. But there's nothing blocking my sight. You and I know, you and I know, you and I know, we're in the gutter. You and I know, you and I know, you and I know, we're in the gutter together. You've got the look, you've got the smile.
I'm pretty happy with it. Are you happy with it, internet? I think that's it, guys. I think I'm done. I'm gonna print it out, with and without this limiter on it, and then I'll figure out mastering. So here we go with that. Rock and roll. Okay, my friends, that was lots of fun. Talk to you guys later.